This tutorial is all about making music. Music can make your creations come alive by adding emotion and atmosphere. Music in Dreams can range from a simple looping track to interactive and procedural music. You can compose tracks from scratch and even create your own instruments. But you don't need to be a maestro to start making your own music. In this tutorial, we'll be making music using ready-made music clips. The music you can hear right now was made with music clips. You can use some of these clips to create your own arrangement. To start making music, we need to switch over to sound mode. Right now you're in assembly mode. If you're ever unsure of what mode you're in, just hover over the mode icon in the top right corner to see your current mode and tool. Go to the assembly menu and open the Mode section with X. The Modes menu is where you access all the different creation modes. Each mode has its own set of tools and options, and the icon for sound mode is a speaker symbol. Select it with X. You now have a new menu at the top of the screen. This is the sound menu. It contains everything you need to make your own music. In the scene, you'll see a timeline gadget. In the next step, I'll show you how to edit it. Music in Dreams is arranged in timelines. This timeline contains a version of the music you heard at the start of this tutorial. But to see what's inside a timeline, we need to open its canvas. Hover your imp over the timeline. Hold L1, then press X to open it. It's just like scoping into a group. This is the timeline canvas. The timeline exists within scene space, so if you pull down on the left stick, you'll back away from it. Hold the L1 button and use the left stick to move up and down the timeline. This is the best way to navigate around timelines, especially when they're big ones. This piece of music is called Connie's theme. To listen to it, just play the scene by clicking R3. See how the piece is composed of many. Click the R3 button again to pause the scene. Each music clip is a collection of notes made by an instrument. You can grab them and move them around with your imp. If you want to delete a music clip, just press triangle over it. Clips can also be cloned by holding L1 when you grab them. You can extend the timeline by hovering over one of its edges and holding X. The edge glows and an arrow icon appears when you hover over it. You can also extend the bottom if you need space for more clips. Once you've finished listening to the piece, click the L3 button to rewind the scene. You'll find lots of different pieces of music by searching the Dreamiverse. To add the edge on when you grab them. You can extend the timeline by hovering over one of its edges and holding X. The edge glows and an arrow icon appears when you hover over it. You can also extend the bottom if you need space for more clips. Once you've finished listening to the piece, click the L3 button to rewind the scene. You'll find lots of different pieces of music by searching the Dreamiverse. To add music to one of your scenes, you could simply stamp a ready-made timeline like this one. But in this tutorial, you'll assemble your own track from ready-made music clips. Move on to the next step and we'll get started. So, let's start making music. It's actually a lot easier than you might think. Close the timeline by selecting the cross button in the top right corner. Or hover over it, hold L1 and press circle to close it. Now delete the timeline by hovering over it with your IMP and pressing triangle, the sound menu. Select the Music Timeline button in the menu, then stamp one in the scene with R2 or X. Press circle to unequip the timeline gadget from your IMP. Open up the timeline canvas with L1 and X. This timeline is empty, ready for you to fill it with music. The columns on the timeline represent musical bars. This timeline is 8 bars long. We'll need more space than that, so hover over the right edge and grab it with X. Extend the timeline to 16 bars. Now let's add a music clip to the timeline. Press square to open the sound menu. Find the search button and select it with X. Its icon is the magnifying glass. In sound mode, search gives you options for finding different types of sounds. Select Search Music Clips with X. The icon looks like some music notes and sliders. This is the Dreamiverse. Here you can find music made by other dream shapers. Well, normally you can, but for this tutorial I've made a collection of elements for you to use. That's what this cluster is. Select it with X to open it. It contains a selection of music clips that you can use to build your own arrangements. Use the right stick to zoom in and out, and the left stick to move around. I've grouped the clips into different categories. Let's start with a basic melody. That's this group of clips. Hover over the music clips to hear a preview of how they sound. Find one that you like, then select it with X to equip it to your IMP. I'm using the clip Nostalgia Bells. Your IMP will now be holding a gadget containing your selected clip. If you hover over the timeline, the gadget snaps to the canvas and reveals the whole clip. Place the clip at the start of the timeline and stamp it with R2 or X. Clips on a timeline will snap to the bars and to other clips to help you line them up exactly. Click R3 to listen to the timeline. In the next